In 2010, around 40,000 people died from drug overdoses in the United States. Quantifying the importance and meaning of individual human life in a single statistic is impossible, but that number might already seem high, especially if you knew one of those people. But it gets worse, so much worse. In 2021, more than 100,000 people died from drug overdose, and that number seems to continue to increase each year. Pinpointing an exact reason behind these rising numbers is complicated, but it all starts with these 5 words: fentanyl and the dark web. According to a UCLA study, fentanyl, a synthetic opioid that's 50 times stronger than heroin, was responsible for around 10% of drug overdose deaths in 2010. In 2015, the first spike of deaths as a result of fentanyl overdose happened. It remained localized in the eastern United States for several years until 2019, when it made its way across the country. Suddenly, everyone was exposed and death rates skyrocketed. As of 2021, a staggering 66% of drug overdoses were as a result of fentanyl, and that number keeps rising. Now you might say, what's the problem? If people take drugs, they should be willing to face the consequences. And while you may be right, the problem is that most people who are dying from fentanyl overdose aren't even aware they're consuming it. And it's all because of one group of people, the fentanyl kings of the dark web. Criminal gangs have figured out how to manufacture and distribute fentanyl illegally. Because fentanyl is much cheaper to produce than other drugs, they've begun lacing it with those other drugs and selling them to unsuspecting users. This is the true cause of the fentanyl crisis. Between 2010 and 2021, the amount of drugs used didn't double, nor did the number of users. In fact, drug use hasn't increased very much. It's just become much more lethal. There is a solution, but it's a rather radical one that requires an open mind to even consider. What if we control the supply itself instead of trying to control the suppliers? If you can't beat them, join them, if you will. It could be that the only way to truly protect people from tainted drugs is to start right at the source by controlling the supply itself and having it produced and distributed legally. It might sound like a crazy idea, but it's actually being considered by governments worldwide right now. In December 2023, lawmakers in the Swiss capital Bern proposed a pilot project to allow the sale of small amounts of cocaine for recreational use. In January 2024, the mayor of Amsterdam supported a similar idea to create a regulated, healthy, and controlled market for hard drugs. Now, the movement has landed in North America through a public company called Pharma Drug. But for them, it's more than just an idea. They're already developing a biosynthetic, pharmaceutical-grade version of cocaine that could be a game-changer for harm reduction. Their goal is to promote a safer, traceable, and quality-controlled option that could really improve public health outcomes. It sounds radical, I know, but once you get past the stigma surrounding the idea, it really does start to make sense. And it's not just some unreal dream of the future. It's already picking up traction. Pharma Drug is listed in Canada on the CSC and in the US on the OTC. They just filed for patents and are teaming up with a licensed lab with a plan to roll out a commercial batch of their biosynthetic cocaine within the next year. If all goes well, this timeline will align with new opportunities from new markets for regulated substances and decriminalization trends worldwide. Say what you want about drug use, but it is undeniable that a regulated, controlled supply will save lives.